Hello to everyone. How are you? I hope you had a nice day. For those that are in the evening right now, and for those of us here in the afternoon, good afternoon to you. So I had made a post the other day, and I promised that I would make a video about connecting the dots. Um, the post that actually made me want to do this video was this lady that I met at work. She's 46, so she's a Nigerian, and she got pregnant after 19 years having, she just had twins, and I was so happy for her. And the first question that I asked her was, how do you feel right now? And she said to me, she feels very relieved that she now have babies, not even one, that now she doesn't have to try hard. And I said, oh, like, if you have to take back something, what would you take back? And she said, not trying so hard, just living it alone, because she actually got pregnant when she left things alone. And I said to her, I said, well, I am glad that she's saying that, because a lot of people don't get to realize that when they're going through stuff, that sometimes you just have to leave things alone. Leave it alone and don't stress about it too much. Of course, it's not easy not to stress about it, but it makes sense when you don't stress about it, because you give yourself a better chance of getting the best. Things happen at their own time. You don't force things to happen in your life. You're never going to get it done if you force it to happen. You're always going to get it. Is it something is wrong somewhere, or something happened somewhere, or something like that. But anyway, I was so happy for her, and I said to her, I said, maybe 2-3 years down the line, you're going to understand why you didn't have these babies before now. And she was like, yes, that somebody had told her that before, and she's hoping that very soon she's going to realize why she didn't have them before now. So after speaking to her, I had so much on my mind, and I said, you know what, let me make a post. And I made a post about it. And I realized that this is things that happen everyday life. Is it a 1 to 3 or 4 or 4, or you yourself, or two people, two of your friends, or a family member is going through such stuff. So what I meant by connecting the dots, I'm going to use myself as an example. Most of the time when we go through challenges, we don't get to see beyond the problems that we're going through. We just focus on those problems and not realizing that, okay, maybe there's something going on that I don't know about. Maybe there's something that I should know about, and I'm not pulling back a little bit from focusing on the problems, just to realize what actually is in it for us. So one of the examples that I would give would be my exam. I made my first video that I made was about my exam that I wrote 7 times and I didn't pass it. And I passed it eventually at the 7th time. Okay, so at the time that I passed that exam, I had to sit down and think about it and say, you know what? What happened? Let's see, from the beginning of all those things. I remember my last year in college here in the U.S., when I was doing the second degree, my last year, I remember that there was an exam that I did. I had to write a term paper, and I mistakenly gave the wrong paper to this professor. I did that, and by the time I realized it, she had already gone through the paper, and then actually emailed me to say, okay, ADBC Brand, you gave me a paper and it wasn't cited properly, which means I plagiarized. Now, at the time, I didn't know what that really meant. So I went to her office and I sat down with her, And she was like, no, you're going to fail, blah, blah, blah. She can do this. I plagiarized. She started quoting laws and everything and all of that. She sent me to the head of the department and all of that. Eventually, at the end of that semester, I had an F in that class. I cried, I begged, I did everything I could do, but nobody listened to me. So I went ahead, I failed that class. I had already gotten into an internship before I got withdrawn from the internship. Everything was just happening at the same time. My marriage wasn't fine at the time. Everything was happening at the same time. I couldn't see past my problems. I just focused on the problems. After that semester, my GPA dropped so bad up until I think about it went up down to 1 point something. And I was so mad at myself for doing that. It was an honest mistake, and nobody could see that I was actually making an honest mistake. I went through that. I had to retake the class again. I retook the class again. The class ended. I passed it again the second time. Then 2 years down the line, I had to reapply for the internship again. The internship I reapplied to. This time around, I got into a better internship than the first one that I was withdrawn from. I did the internship. It was time for the exam. I couldn't pass the exam. 7 times I couldn't pass it. Every other person passed the exam. I didn't pass the exam. What was I doing wrong? I don't know. I just kept going at it. I persevered and I kept going at it. Eventually, 3 years down the line after the internship, I passed the exam. Now, I passed the exam, and a lot of doors are just opening for me, jobs. I can begin to even express how I feel right now. So much joy, so much things coming into place. And I sat down and I said to myself, okay, maybe if I had passed the exam before now, maybe I wouldn't have the opportunity that I'm getting right now. I have something big in my life right now that just happened to me recently, unexpectedly, that the way that it happened, it doesn't feel normal to me, but I just said to myself, it's the grace of God. And it was just because I persevered. It was just because I was patient enough. It was just because I was able to put it together and say, you know what? Yes, I didn't pass the exam, but it's not the end of the world. I'm going to keep trying. And now I have realized that majority of the things that has happened in my life has always been like that. It's just that I never paid attention. I never paid attention. And challenges that have happened in my life has always been this way. And I realized that looking back to my marriage, the way my first marriage failed, and many things that have happened in my life, they all happen in steps. And it happens like this with everybody. I have talked to a couple of people, and I ask them about their problems, and I make them see the way that I have seen it right now, and they come to realize that, yeah, it all steps. So you have to connect the dots from one place to another. If you do that, and the next time you have a challenge, you wouldn't have to stress so much on it, because you should realize that these things happen step by step in your life, and you have to all put it together. If you don't put it together, the next time you have a problem, you're just going to go haywire. You're just going to get aggravated. You're just going to get angry. You're just going to... But when you put things together, you realize, okay, this is one of those things that is happening to me. It's just a problem. It will take care of itself. However, I have to know how to make things work for me. Problem happens. Look back in your life. Has this thing ever happened before? Maybe not the same thing, but something has happened. How did you take care of it? Put it together, and what's the end result? When you finally got the end result, what came out of it? You realize that many times when your problem is done, when you solved your problems, you just look at yourself and say, oh, why did I even have to stress about it in the first place? I didn't really have to stress about it. So I had to put this out there. I don't know, maybe this will help somebody. I hope it does, because that's the main reason why I'm doing it. I recently put up a page I call the Z's page, Z's Place. Now, this page is just a reflection of my goals, of my dreams, of something that I really want to do for a lot of people. I get this inspiration ideas, and I tend to put them down and write on Facebook. So I made this page and I said, go on the page and read stuff. You might be very surprised that sometimes when you read things like that, you get that idea that you've been waiting for so long. So visit the page. It's called Z's Place. I am also going to share this video on that page, and I'm also going to share it on my main page, which is the Brian page. Thank you. I love you guys. I hope everything is going well with you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I try my best. I will continue to try my best to put up videos. This is so long, 10 minutes already, and I plan not to make it long, but hopefully you can watch it to the end. Thank you and love you plenty. Bye.